So, how do you encourage reflection, self reflection in yourself, if you really haven't ever done it before, right? And you want to look at specific moments in time that will help you. Here's what I mean. Dr. McLean, I'm a self and story analyst. I help you figure out what's you, what's authentic to you, what's in yourself versus what's trauma, what's in you that should not be there. Coping mechanisms, denial, depression, anxiety, these things that are not of you, they live outside of you, right? That we internalize and we call our personality, and it's actually not at all our personality. Or we call it our character, and it's not actually our character, right? It's bad limiting thoughts, negative thought patterns, right? It's stunted emotional growth or emotional dysregulation, right? It's not actually us. It is things that we learned and that we can unlearn. And one of the big things that I think is important to ask ourselves has to do with moments where we're stressed, right? How do you respond, react, deal with stress in your life, right? Like when things are not going your way, how you showing up. Like that is how we know where work has to go. That's how we know where we have to start doing some work. Because if you get stressed and you are a raging bee and you take it out on everybody, you need to do some self-reflection, right? Because you're trying to outlet and project on everybody else, and you need to be the one focusing in and regulating yourself, right? I know we live in a very externally focused society, but at the end of the day, the only thing that you can really control is yourself. And so one of the big reframes that has to happen in order for you to start regulating yourself emotionally is to reflect on these moments where things are not going your way. And what does it say about you and what you need to do and how you need to act and how you need to show up differently, perhaps? As an example, let me say that it's a hypothetical example. Let's say I have work at 9 o'clock in the morning and I got up at 8:20. Okay, my alarm was set for 7, but I got up at 8:20. So I'm running late, and then someone cuts me off in traffic, and now I'm yelling at them. I'm pissed off. I'm super upset. I am not having it, right? That's stress in your life. But if you take a moment to self-reflect, well, who caused that stress? Not the person who cut you off. You did. By waking up an hour and 20 minutes later than you were supposed to, right? We are, a lot of the times, the source of our own problems, frustration, anxiety, and stressful situations. Not always, but often. And self-reflection helps us to figure out, hey, what was me and what actually isn't me? And there's a responsibility that comes with the freedom of choice of how to respond to a thing. But there are always more ways to respond and react than people realize. Because we react. But actually, if you step back from the situation, there are multiple options that can be taken at any given time, in any given circumstance. You just need to be able to step back enough to figure out, hey, I don't need to yell at this person who cut me off in traffic. Instead, I can just peacefully go about my day and be like, oops, I probably should have got up on time. You know what I mean? The self-reflection leads to, or can lead to, self-regulation, right? It's like when you get good at the self-reflection, self-regulatory practice, you realize like, oh, I don't have to be upset about that thing. Why am I upset about that thing? What help is me getting upset about that thing doing? So how do you respond to stress, right? And a lot of the times the way we respond to stressful situations stems from patterns that we have and have had for our whole lives, okay? And so in order to help you guys figure out what hurts, right? What are you holding inside of you mentally, emotionally, intellectually, sexually, and spiritually that has wounded you? And you're functioning out of it now, right? I'm going to do a webinar on this on Friday, 1:00 p.m. EST. If you are interested in joining it, it's free. It's just to help you build self-awareness. It's going to help you kind of understand some of the typical things that can kind of store inside of us, that can be that sort of traumatic incident that did store inside of us. And so it's going to be more kind of academic. It's not going to be, I'm going to be teaching you. I'm not going to be like helping you through these things. I'm going to be teaching you what they are, and then you can reflect on if it resonates with you or not. It is just a webinar to raise awareness to help you figure out if you do have these things inside of you. I will say this work can help everybody. There is nobody I have ever met that does not have wounds in those 5 categories. Some more than others. I will not be talking about physical, social too much, or financial, right? Those are the other ways that we kind of grow, and I will not be talking about those. They're not my expertise. But the other 5, we need to talk about if you want to be there, right? So shoot me a DM if you want to go to that webinar. It is on Friday. If you're not going to be able to make it at 1 o'clock, but you still want it, I can send you the replay. If you have a comment, a question, concern that you want to talk about, you can drop it here, or you can drop it to me in the DMs. If you like these self-reflective, growth, personal transformation conversations, then follow me, because I'm always doing this kind of work with you and with myself and with my clients, because at the end of the day, anywhere you go, there you are, right? So you have to be aware of yourself as the holistic human and stop pretending like you don't have these things that have kind of shaped you. Even though they don't belong to you, they still might live inside of you, right? And like I said, my job is to help you get out the things that don't need to be there so that the things that are there can thrive, right? We're all created to be something unique and wonderful. And it's like a garden, you plant this rose bush, but if you don't tend to it, the weeds are going to spring up and it's going to choke the life out of it. And the rose bush is not going to thrive. And so the weeds are the traumatic things that live inside of us. The seed is what you are. And the growth is what needs to happen when we pull the weeds away, right? And so I'm always using nature metaphors in my work. So, sorry, not sorry. My job is to help you figure out what kind of seed you are and what kind of weeds need to be cleared away so that that seed can grow, and what kind of things are specific to you that help you to grow into that beautiful sort of thing that you were meant to be, right? Because you come down with the blueprint. You have a personality from like 3 months old. I see this now with my nieces. They are who they are, even though there are things that happen and, but they are who they are to some degree. And that's going to stay with them. And it's true of you. You were a baby once too, like the things that are in you are there for a reason. So it is my job to help you figure out what shouldn't be there. Let's get it out. And if you do want to end up working together, my job is to help you what is there, what is in there, and how that can help you make future better informed decisions that are more aligned with your own path and purpose, right? And so if you do want to work together, the link in my bio has my website. It's the first little thing you can click. You can go ahead and check that out. What I do is a self and story analyst to help you be you, or help reflect back you to you in a more true fashion. But yeah, at the end of the day, there's so many people out there who are so afraid of themselves. They're so afraid of their own thoughts and their own feelings. They don't know who they are. They don't know how to show up in the world. They're just so sad and lonely and miserable and broken and depressed. And so much of that is because they don't know who they are. They don't know what they mean to the world or what they can mean to the world. They don't know how important their life is. And it is my job to help you figure that out if you are ready to go on that kind of a journey. So yeah, DM me if you want to go to the webinar on Friday. Shoot me a message with your email. Put a comment in if you want. Check out my website. The link in my bio has a lot of old content from you on YouTube. It has my website. It's just a lot of informative stuff. It's got a personality diagnostic that I like to use. The MBTI, I like to use that in my practice. So really, if that is something that is interesting to you, do all those things. Follow, comment, like, check it out, because you are a very important investment, right? And if you don't know that, you need this work greatly.